Hello, Dordt University sports fans. Hope you're enjoying the game, whether you're a family or friend of a team member or a fan of the university. These players and coaches have put in hours and hours of practice, and it shows. There's one more thing that every coach makes sure the team has for each game, and that's a game plan. And no matter the outcome of the game, there's tremendous value in growth in working together as a team to execute that game plan. What about you? Do you have a game plan for your financial life? Or are you so busy with everything else that life throws your way? If you don't have either the time or the desire to spend hours and hours learning and keeping up with the changing rules in the financial world, and then figuring out how that applies specifically to your financial life, you don't have to do it alone. For over 40 years, the planning firm here in Sioux Center has been helping households build and execute their financial game plans on all the things more important than money. I'm Tom DeYoung, president of the planning firm. Check us out on the web or social media, or schedule a complimentary Discover meeting to see how a financial game plan might benefit you. We'll help you build your financial game plan on all the things in your life more important than finances, while being a good steward of the resources God has entrusted to your care. And check out our Money Concepts Radio podcast at moneyconceptsradio.com or on your favorite podcast app, where we dive into relevant financial planning topics to bring clarity to the often confusing, ever-changing rules of the game in the financial world. Enjoy the rest of the game, and remember to spend your most valuable resources, your time and your attention, on the things in life that matter more than money. And go Defenders!
Today's broadcast brought to you by 712 Nutrition. Transform your health and wellness with 712 Nutrition. Stop in today for healthy, delicious protein shakes bundled with a supportive community. Start feeling your best today.
Find furniture, mattresses, flooring, paint, and window treatments at your local Furniture Mart. They are family-owned and located in downtown Sioux Center. German Farmers Mutual, protecting the farm and home since 1891. Northwest Iowa's local insurance partner. Online at germanfarmers.com.
When you add up all the Wi-Fi connected devices in your home these days, you'll be surprised at how many there are and how much bandwidth they're using. Do the math. It just may add up to needing faster Wi-Fi. Premier Communications has you covered with reliable internet speeds up to 1 gig. Keep everything connected with Premier Communications. Visit us online at mypremieronline.com or call at 1-800-741-8351. Premier Communications. Looking ahead.
We really want to give them practice skills that they can use to serve their clients or serve the organizations that they work for.
And a pleasant good afternoon to you from Open Space Park, Sioux Center, Iowa. 1 o'clock start time as the Dordt Defenders take on the Doane Tigers in Great Plains Athletic Conference doubleheader baseball action. The Dordt Defenders come in fighting for a spot in the top 8 in the Great Plains Athletic Conference, and with it a berth in the GPAC postseason tournament, the 8-team field. It'd be the first time since 2017 the Defenders made it into the postseason. For the Doane Tigers, they've been a regular towards the top of the conference standings for the last several seasons. They are fighting for a conference championship. The door has been open for them, with Morningside and Concordia dropping to 21-5. Concordia got a sweep of the Morningside Mustangs last night in Great Plains Athletic Conference baseball play, opening the door for the Doane Tigers on a Friday where Doane is at Dordt, Dakota Wesleyan is at Mount Marty, Briar Cliff is at Midland, and Waldorf is at Northwestern, the final weekend of the Great Plains Athletic Conference regular season. Dordt played 2 games on Thursday night, got a split in what ended up being a late affair with the Hastings Broncos. And then Concordia and Morningside playing yesterday. And right now, some shaking that could happen yet in Great Plains Athletic Conference action. We have right now Briar Cliff and Northwestern fighting for 4th and 5th respectively. And the Dordt Defenders, the defensive alignment for the Dordt Defenders will look like this. Drew DeVries is on the mound. Chisholm Demers is behind the plate. DJ Kerr, Joey Schlesselman, Stephen Dillander, and Logan Templeton from 3rd to 1st. Jared Hers, Jimmy Twombly, and Drew Oreskes from left to right defensively for Dordt, as they face the leadoff batter for the Doane Tigers, and that is Carter Roth. Carter Roth comes into today's contest, one of the top hitters in the league, .431 batting average, 75 hits this season for the leadoff batter for the Tigers, and we are underway. First pitch from DeVries is inside and high, ball 1. 1-0 the count with nobody out here in the top of the first inning. Just underway in Sioux Center. Game time temps right around 60 degrees. Light breeze, and what breeze there is blowing in from center field at the moment. Pitch is in for a cold strike, 1-1. Nothing but sunshine here in Sioux Center, and looks like that will last for much of the day, if not all of the remainder of the day. 1-1 pitch on the way, chopper towards the middle. Taken by Schlesselman, throws over to first base in time by half a step, and Roth is retired. 6-3 for the first out of the inning. That'll bring Grant Summers to the plate. So Grant Summers will step in. Summers, a .422 batting average. Second on the team in that category. Also has 68 base hits. Comes to the plate with the bases empty. 1 out in the inning. And here's the pitch. Swung on, and that one's fouled out of play. Strike one. 0-1 the count with 1 down in the inning. We're in the top of the first inning. So Roth, Summers, Kwapniowski. First 3 batters in the Doane lineup. From the stretch is DeVries. DeVries, the right-hander, pitches in for a called strike. 0-2 the count. Softball team has the day off today. They played yesterday. Got a critical sweep of the Dakota Wesleyan Tigers last night. Scheduled to go to Briarcliff tomorrow to conclude the regular season. We'll take a look at softball standings as the day goes along. We'll have plenty of time for that. Breaking ball from DeVries is in for a called strike. And Grant Summers goes down looking for the first time this afternoon. We have a strikeout, second batter. And give you the numbers on Drew DeVries. DeVries 0-2 this year, 14 1/3 innings. Strikeout total, 25 in 14 innings. To say the defenders don't have the starting rotation that they thought they would have at the beginning of the year right now is an understatement, dealing with some injuries. You go with Lincoln Vandermolen and Bennett Spronk. Those are your 1-2, and after that, the defenders have been forced to spread the innings out here in the last couple of weekends with varying results. Swing and a miss, strike 2 by Kwapniowski. Kwapniowski, a .320 batting average, good power numbers, 8 home runs this year, 27 RBI, batting with the bases empty here. So Kwapniowski down to the count, 0-2. See what DeVries does here, the righty. 0-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball is in for a called strike 3. And the Doane Tigers are retired in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. To the bottom of the first inning we go. Doane 0. Dordt coming to the plate with Van, Twombly, and Templeton when we're back right after this. Today's broadcast brought to you by Ployne Publishing, quality printing from design to delivery.
The Greenhouse, located in Hall, Iowa, bringing you amazing coffee, energy drinks, breakfast, lunch, and so much more. A big city feel, only 10 minutes away from Sioux Center, with a second location opening soon in Sanborn.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Huber's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning of Orange City. Whether you're looking for repairs, replacement, or maintenance for your air conditioning or heating system, Huber's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning of Orange City will exceed your expectation.
At American Investment and Trust, we know financial planning is a never-ending journey, and we have the right team to take you every step of the way. We understand that a solid financial framework can only be built when risks are considered. Planning for tomorrow means starting today. And once you've built a legacy, we help make sure your vision carries on to the next generation. For a comprehensive financial plan, the team at American Investment and Trust is here for you. American Investment and Trust, managing change.
Ryan Van to lead things off for the defenders. Defensive alignment for Doane. Caden Crawford is on the hill. Tanner Nelson is behind the plate. Jordan Bond, Grant Summers, Carter Roth, Braden Jones, Johnny Volcano, Max Harris, and Sam Kwapniowski left to right in the outfield. It's Bond, Summers, Roth, and Jones third to first. Bottom of the first inning, Ryan Van to lead things off. Van, the designated hitter. First pitch is high and tight. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. Ryan Van this year, .303 batting average. 44 hits. Late in the game against Hastings, had a little trouble on advancing to second. Looked like he might have tweaked a hamstring, but he's in the lineup here today. Fly ball out after the ball. Lazy fly ball to Sam Kwapnowski for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Jimmy Twombly. Twombly this year, .243 batting average, 9 doubles, 24 RBI. He's done some damage this year. This is a line drive in center field. Max Harris charging, and Harris will make the play on the run. Made it look easy. Harris retires Twombly with a fly ball out for the second out of the inning. So a little bit too much air under that one for Twombly. That'll bring Templeton to the plate. Logan Templeton, .313 batting average. Tops on the team in RBI, shares that honor with Drew Araskis. They both have 34 RBI. Doane Tigers will conclude their season, their regular season, tomorrow. They play Morningside. So they got a big doubleheader coming tomorrow. Pitch is in for a called strike. 1-1 the count. So for Doane, the temptation is to look past this one. Think about that Morningside doubleheader tomorrow. Pitch is in for a called strike 2, 1-2 the count. Crawford, pretty good numbers. The starting rotation for Doane, pretty good. Crawford, 7-2 this year, 57 innings pitched. Gets a fair amount of run support. Checking his swing. Templeton, they'll appeal down to first and say he didn't go around. Ball 2, 2-2 the count. So 2-2 the count with 2 down in the inning. Crawford, a 6.32 earned run average. 57 innings pitched. Leads the team in K, strikeouts with 63. Templeton fouls that one off. Count remains 2-2. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Played with windy conditions, hot conditions on Thursday. Started that game Thursday afternoon at about 85 degrees. Line drive through the hole between short and third. And Templeton is on with a 2-out single. So Templeton advances. Brings up Drew Araskis. Araskis has some power. Drew on Wednesday. Put one into the evergreens over in the right field corner. Defenders and Doane 0-0 right now. Crawford from the stretch. Here's the pitch. Inside corner, strike 1. So Araskis down to the count 0-1. Crawford checks the runner at first, holding him on. Here's the pitch. Inside. Ball 1, 1-1 the count. Softball team. Solid wins last night over Dakota Wesleyan. Still keeping hopes of a conference championship alive. Got to go to Briar Cliff tomorrow. 1-1 pitch on the way with 2 down to Araskis. Here's the pitch. That's in for a called strike. 1-2 the count. That one was up around the letters, and Araskis watches it go by. Not a great pitch to hit. Crawford kept it high and away. Outside half of the plate. Tough for Araskis to catch up with that one. 1-2 pitch. Here it is. Ball 2, 2-2 the count. So 2-2 the count. Waiting in the on-deck circle is Dillander. And from the stretch is Crawford. They shade him to left field. Here's the pitch. Inside ball 3. 3-2 the count. Center fielder Harris playing a good step or two off to the left field side of dead center. Right fielder given a lot of room on the line. I'd say a good Boy, he's almost playing in front of the scoreboard over there in right center. The toss over to first base, not in time. 2 down in the inning. Runner on first is Templeton. Jones holding him on over there. Second baseman, Roth, playing back on the grass. Putting a charge into it is Oreskes. Looks like he has a bead on it. Making the play on the warning track is Max Harris. In left center field, had him played pretty well, and Oreskes flies out to center for the final out of the inning for the defenders. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. To the second inning we go. Due up for Doane, Nelson, Grossert, and Volcano when we're back right after this. Today's broadcast brought to you by Cruz & Cruz, PC, certified public accountants. Offices in Sioux Center and Lamar's. Helping you attain your financial goals is their commitment. Today's broadcast brought to you by Joyner and Dordt Dentistry, providing implants, dentures, and dental care for your whole family in a modern and friendly atmosphere. Today's broadcast brought to you by Ski-Bout Window and Door, your local window experts. Whether you're building or replacing, Ski-Bout Window and Door has the products, people, and knowledge to get the job done right. See Ski-Bout and see the difference.
Hi, this is Alex with Outdoor Elements. We've been the region's premier landscape company for over 15 years. With our own in-house landscape designer, we create extraordinary outdoor spaces where you will make memories with family and friends. We do all types of landscaping, and we're the region's only certified pool professionals. We specialize in saltwater pools, which are easy to maintain and gentle on your skin. Check out our website at OutdoorElementsInc.com. We make your landscape as beautiful as your home. When you want the best, contact us at 712-476-5299 or email us at info@OutdoorElementsInc.com.
Tanner Nelson leading things off for the Tigers. Fouls this one off and out of play. Strike 1, 0-1 the count. So both teams go without incident in the first inning. 0-1 the count. The defenders in their black jersey tops, white pants, yellow numbers and lettering. Doane going with the road grays, black numbers and lettering, trimmed in white. A little bit of orange represented on their caps defensively. The orange Tiger logo, I believe. My eyes aren't that great. Just see that little bit of orange there. Check swing. Ball 2. 2-1 the count. So 2-1 the count. With nobody out, JaVries from the stretch. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way to Nelson. Nelson fouls it off and out of play, right side, drifting out of play. Over the Doane bullpen, over on the right field line. So 2-2 count with nobody down. Leading off the inning is Nelson, 0-0 our score. Here's the pitch, missed outside, ball 3, 3-2. Well, the softball team got a couple of wins last night over Dakota Wesleyan to put themselves into a tie with the Tigers in third place. Midland and Morningside, both 15-3. They play today. Could have a four-way tie atop the league. Pitches down to the dirt, ball 4. The walk is issued. First walk given up by DeVries. That'll bring up Jet Grossert. So Grossert will come to the plate. And we have a courtesy runner for for Nelson. That'll be number 26. Thaden Weewell will run for the catcher. So as I noted, Midland and Morningside softball playing today. Both women's and men's diamond sports, baseball and softball. With a lot to be decided yet this final weekend, the conference championship's up for grabs, and you do have the top teams in the league facing off with each other, so meaningful baseball here at the end of the year. Throw over to first base wasn't in time. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air, left side. Looks like Jared Hers has a bead on it. Hers under it, makes the play. Wewell will retreat back to first base. And Grossert flies out for out number 1 of the inning. And that'll bring up Johnny Volcano. Volcano with 1 down in the inning. Volcano, left fielder, right-handed batter, .344 batting average. First pitch is a ball. 1-0 the count. So Wewell at first base. Does have 17 stolen bases. Gets his lead over there. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, strike 1. 1-1 the count. So 1-1 the count. Wewell looking for clarification. He thought it was a little outside. From my vantage point, I can understand the question. Throw over to first base, not in time. Vandermolen thought he got him. Wewell diving back in safely. 1-1 the count. So 1-1 the count with 1 out in the inning. See if the defenders can coax a double play out of this. Throw over to first base, not in time. Wewell batting .303. This is a Doane team that has outscored opponents 361 to 177 through 43 games. 1-1 the count. Swung on, hit in the air, right side, fouling it off and out of play. Count goes to 1-2. So 1-2. 1-2 the count with 1 out. And Volcano awaits the delivery from DeVries. DeVries pitch high and tight. Ball 2, 2-2. Volcano, 6th batter in the lineup for the Tigers. Tigers' first base runner of the day over at first base. That's Wewell, the courtesy runner for Nelson, who walked. Here's the pitch. Swung on a line drive to right field, and that is blocked by the right fielder, Arascas. Kept it close, and runner advances all the way over to third base on the play. So Volcano, a single. Wewell advances to second on the play. And that'll bring Braden Jones to the plate. Braden Jones, .305 batting average. A couple of base runners on for him. He's knocked in 29 runs this year. Jones, first baseman. First pitch, a ball. 1-0 the count. 1 down here in the top of the second inning. Dordt trying to wiggle their way out of trouble. And here's the pitch. Up high, ball 2, 2-0. Other baseball games happening today. Dakota Wesleyan at Mount Marty for the first of 2 between those two teams. Briarcliff is at Midland, and Waldorf is at Northwestern. Conference on the mound. Jared Jones out of the third base dugout, pitching coach for the defenders, talking things over with his pitcher and his catcher. Dordt Track and Field also competing at the Drake Relays today. They'll conclude tomorrow. Dakota Wesleyan and Mount Marty playing at 3 this afternoon. Briarcliff and Midland also playing at 3. Midland and Morningside softball scheduled for a 3 o'clock start time in Sioux City. And they're going to play late baseball in Orange City today. They'll start at 4 o'clock with Waldorf and Northwestern. 2-0 the count with 1 out. Pitch on the way to Jones. That's in for a called strike. 2-1 the count. Baseball standings, Doane 20-4, Morningside and Concordia 21-5. We talked about that already with Concordia getting the sweep of Morningside last night. Briarcliff stands 4th right now, 15-9. They're playing Midland. Midland's still fighting for a spot in the top 8 as well. Scoring around, showing bunt is Jones. Jones pulls back, takes strike 2. 2-2 the count. Northwestern facing Waldorf. They're entertaining thoughts of taking 4. They're 13-11 right now. The Defenders stand 10-16 and are in 6th place right now. A game in front of Hastings. Swung on and lashed into left field, and that's going to get in for a base hit. Taking the turn at second, heading for third, and in safely is Volcano. And Braden Jones with a single to left field, producing a run. Volcano comes around from first all the way over to third, and Weevil scores easily on the play. Brings up Jordan Bond. Well, the Tigers right now knocking it around a little bit. Defenders need a ground ball out. 1 out in the inning. Jordan Bond awaiting the delivery from DeVries. Here's the pitch. That misses inside. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. So Doane leads at 1-0 here in the top of the second inning. DeVries from the stretch. Pitches up high, ball 2. 2-0. Jordan Bond this year. .293 batting average. So Bond, opportunity to add to the 1-0 lead. Fouls that one off and out of play. Strike 1. 2-1 the count. So 2-1 the count. With 1 down in the inning. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. 2-2 the count. And that pitch misses. Ball 3. 3-2 the count. Three and two the count with 1 out in the inning. Here's the pitch. Up high and tight, ball 4, and the walk is issued. So the bases are loaded, and that'll bring Max Harris to the plate. Harris, the number 9 hitter in the lineup, and we're going to have a pitching change here in the top of the second inning. The Defenders trailing 1-0. Doane with the bases loaded, and Coach Ian Eshelman taking the walk out to the mound. And the Defenders are going to go to the bullpen here with 1 down in the top of the second. 1-0 our score. We have a pitching change. Back with more right after this.
I think one of the distinctives for our program is that we're designing it for everyone, whether they have a background in business or they don't have a background in business. Students can take what they're learning in class and bring it right back into work. There's a real practical sense within the program of saying, this isn't just a big idea that's out there and you're walking through the hoops to be able to get done, but let's benefit your business tomorrow with the program that you're going through.
NewTek is your partner for success when purchasing equipment for construction, manufacturing, agriculture, and other industries. Don't miss the opportunity to transform your business and redefine your productivity standards with NewTek.
And today's live stream broadcast brought to you by Verhoof Automotive. Verhoof Automotive in Sioux Center is your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevrolet, and Buick dealer. Verhoof Automotive, worth the drive from anywhere.
Jared Bennett comes on in relief and inherits a bases-loaded situation with one out. And Max Harris is the batter. Harris batting .316 and comes to the plate with an opportunity to do some damage, has 20 RBI. And here's the pitch. Breaking ball from Bennett, misses. Ball one. 1-0 the count. Bennett this year, this is his third appearance. This one lifted high in the air, left side, under it. Throw all the way through to the plate, and sliding in safely is Volcano. Braden Jones holds up on the play. Hers with the throw home. And that'll bring Carter Roth to the plate. Roth with 2 down in the inning, so the defender's trying to minimize the damage here. 2 out down and a 2-0 score, as the Tigers taking advantage of a couple of hits and a couple of walks, resulting in 2 runs. Here's the pitch, and Bennett's pitch is in for a called strike. 0-1 the count with 2 down in the inning. So 0-1 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Low and away. Ball one. 1-1 the count. So 1-1 the count with 2 down. And here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 2. 2-1. Runner on second base is Jones. Runner on first is Bond. Bennett coaxed a fly ball out. First batter. See if he can get out of the jam. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses high and tight. Ball 3. 3-1. So 3-1 the count here in the top of the second inning. The defenders, a win would really put them in a great spot. A win today would put the defenders in a great spot in terms of the postseason tournament, getting a berth. Fly ball right side, Templeton in foul territory. You can't see it. Lost it in the afternoon sun. And the foul ball makes it 3-2. Had enough room. He was over near the camera stand, over on the outfield side of the first base dugout. But looked up and trying to shield his eyes from the sun. with his throwing hand and just couldn't find it. And now the count is full to Roth. 3-2. Runners on first and second. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses inside ball 3. And the walk is issued. Jones advances over to third. Bond to second. Roth to first. And with 2 down in the inning, that'll bring Grant Summers to the plate. Summers will come up with the bases loaded. Summers in his last at-bat struck out. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. 0-1 the count to Summers. Kwapnowski waits in the on-deck circle. So 0-1 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swung on, chopper back to Bennett. Bennett up with it, throws over to first base in time. And the side is retired. The Tigers, though, do get a run across. They get 2 runs across. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, 3 left on base. To the bottom of the second we go. Back with more after this.
Welcome to Sioux Center, Iowa. Life in the center of everything. Where we connect with friends, coworkers, family, and the great outdoors. Knowing that in Sioux Center, you're never far from making the next great memory. And we grow great companies that make cutting-edge breakthroughs to make life better here and around the world. And when it's time to play, we keep friendship, family, and a bright future at the center of everything.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University.
And brought to you by Pizza Ranch, buffet, carry out, or delivery. Today's broadcast is sponsored by Northside Body Shop. When you expect the very best in the repair of your vehicle, call Northside Body Shop Limited today, serving the Sioux Center area since 1955. 712-722-2313.
Stephen Dillander to lead things off for the defenders. Dordt trailing 2-0. Dillander coming to the plate for the first time this afternoon. 5th batter in the Dordt lineup. Dillander this year, .291 batting average. Swung on, fights it off, foul, strike 1. 0-1 the count. Dillander leads the team in home runs with 8. Second on the team in RBI with 32. Batting here with the bases empty. Had a home run on Wednesday in the loss to Hastings, part of a back-to-back home run sequence. Foul ball down the line. Strike 2, 0-2 the count with nobody out. Due up for the defenders, it's Dillander, Hers, and Schlesselman. Jaden Crawford working into his second inning. The defenders have gone to their bullpen. Friday game considered a weekend game, so that means 7-inning game to start the doubleheader, 9-inning game to close it down. 0-2 the count with nobody out. Here's the pitch. Up high. Ball 1, 1-2 the count to Dillander. Crawford and Nelson, your pitcher and catcher for Doane. Here's the pitch. In there for a called strike 3. And Crawford records the strikeout. That's the first strikeout, and Dillander, the first strikeout victim. Brings Jared Hers to the plate with 1 out. So Jared Hers comes to the plate. .233 batting average. Trying to get things started with 1 out. Pitches in for a called strike. 0-1 the count with 1 out. Roth and Jones, the right side of the infield. Roth playing back on the grass. Second pitch in for a called strike. It's 0-2. 0-2 the count with 1 out. Left side of the infield, Bond and Summers. So 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on, ground ball chopped between first and second base, and that's in for a single. So Hers between first and second for the ground ball single. And that'll bring Joey Schlesselman to the plate. One out in the inning. And Schlesselman, who had a nice doubleheader on Wednesday night, comes to the plate and lines it into center field, and that is caught by Max Harris. One of the harder hit balls thus far. Line out to the center fielder. On the first pitch, Schlesselman retired without incident. Hers holds at first base. That'll bring DJ Kerr to the plate. Kerr batting .237. This is his 30th game played this year. 26th start. Throw over to first, not in time. Kerr with 9 RBI this year. 2 down in the inning. The Defenders with 20 wins this year. 10 wins in conference play. Pitch is fouled off. Strike 1. 0-1 the count with 2 down. 0-1 the count with 2 down. Flag hanging straight down in center field. Kerr fouls that one off. Strike 2, 0-2 the count. So Kerr now behind the count, 0-2. Crawford is pitched from in front most of the game through 5 outs at least. Not a huge sample size. And the throw over to first base, not in time. Crawford has thrown 23 pitches up to this point. So 0-2 the count with 2 down. Crawford. Making his 12th start. All of his pitching appearances have been starts. He has not appeared in relief this year. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Hit in the air, right side, charging and unable to make the play on the Texas Leaguer to right is Kwapnowski, and Kwapnowski gets it off of the bounce, sends it back in, and Kerr is on with a single to right field. Hers advances Hers advances all the way to third. And that'll bring Chisholm Demers to the plate. So Chisholm Demers will come to the plate with 2 down. Let's see if the Defenders can get one back here. From the stretch, it's Crawford. That one's off of the hands. Could be an easy play for the first baseman, Jones, in foul territory. And the Defenders are retired as Demers fouls out to the first baseman in front of the first base dugout for the third out of the inning. Dordt threatens but comes up with nothing. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors. Back with more right after this.
How can I join Defender Forever? It's easy. Go to dordt.edu/forever and sign up. You'll not only stay connected with the Dordt community, but also support the future of Defender Nation. Start Forever now. Once you sign up, you will receive exclusive perks, brand new gear, event access, and the latest Dordt news. Be part of something special. Be part of Defender Forever.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Snyder Insurance and Financial Group of Sioux Center, offering life, health, Medicare supplements, annuities, and more. Trusted service and exceptional products with you in mind since 1973. Today's broadcast brought to you by 712 Realty, a team of realtors in Northwest Iowa with the drive, care, and results you need to buy or sell your home. Visit them online, 712realty.com, leading you home. This broadcast brought to you by the Ullman Funeral Homes. Chad Ullman, Lori Ewell, and Taylor Van Witchell providing professional attention to every detail. Kwapnowski comes to the plate to lead things off for the Tigers. New pitcher in for the Defenders, Matt Eubanks. And here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled off, and out of play. Strike one, 0-1 the count. So 0-1 the count to Kwapnowski. Kwapnowski 0 for 1 today. Hits this one high in the air, right center field. Twombly under it, drifting, makes the play. And Kwapnowski retired on the fly out to center. Front number 1 of the inning. That'll bring up Tanner Nelson. Nelson got things going with a base on balls in the second inning. So 1 out in the inning. And here's the pitch. Misses upstairs, ball 1. 1-0 the count with 1 out in the inning. So 1-0 the count with 1 down in the frame. And Nelson the batter. Here's the pitch. That just misses, ball 2. 2-0. So 2-0 the count. Too early to be doing any scoreboard watching yet. Here's the pitch. That's in for a called strike. 2-1 the count. Looks like the rest of the games, I believe, starting at 3 this afternoon. 1 softball doubleheader and 3 other baseball doubleheaders. That pitch misses up high, ball 3. 3-1 the count. Defenders concluding the regular season today. See if they play on Wednesday or not in the conference tournament. This one's fouled off, strike 2, 3-2 the count. A win puts Dordt in a great spot and get them to 11 wins in conference play. At that point, you'd be looking at Midland needing a sweep of Briar Cliff in 4 games to catch them. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, strike 3. And Tanner Nelson retired for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Jeff Grossert. Mount Marty and Dakota Wesleyan play each other, and a split gets them
to 10 wins each. Dordt right now sitting at 10 wins. And what it is 5 teams are fighting for the final 3 spots. Fly ball left side, and Grossert retired as Hers runs it down near the left field line. And the Tigers are retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Due up for the defenders at the top of the order, Van, Twombly, Templeton. When we're back with the bottom of the 3rd right after this.
At Dordt, every sporting event is a chance for students to learn and for our community to come together. Through the Dordt Media Network, students gain real experience, capturing moments and sharing them with fans everywhere.
Our students handle every part of the broadcast.
We are asking for your investment to support the broadcast and the team behind it.
You're helping students learn while Defender broadcasts run with excellence. Thanks for watching. Go Defenders. Today's broadcast is brought to you by RA Rentals. Looking for top-notch rental equipment for the next project? Look no further than RA Rentals, located in Sioux Center, Spencer, Storm Lake, and Sioux Falls. RA Rentals, your regional equipment rental experts. Discover more than just inventory, service, and financing for Ford models. Mao Motor Company is committed to exceptional customer service. Mao Motor on Highway 75 North in Sioux Center. Online, maomotor.com. Today's broadcast brought to you by Hague Health Center, proudly serving your local community for nearly 60 years with a commitment to healing body, mind, and spirit. Talked at length about the baseball schedule. There you see some of the Hague Health Center highlights, and one of 2 runs coming across. That one on a sacrifice fly for the Tigers. The Defenders trailing 2-0. Caden Crawford working into his 3rd inning, second time around the order for the Defenders. Ryan Van comes to the plate. First pitch to Van is in for a called strike. 0-1 the count. 0-1 the count with nobody out. That pitch is a ball, 1-1. So 1-1 the count. Bases are empty. The natural grass here at Open Space Park, great condition. This one popped up left side. Camping out under it and making the play is Grant Summers. So Ryan Van on the pop out to the shortstop. So the first out of the inning recorded on the pop out to the shortstop. And that'll bring up Twombly. Twombly takes a ball. So 1-0 the count. That pitch in for a called strike. Catches the bottom half of the zone. So 1-1 the count. 2-0 so far. The Doane Tigers, 2 runs in the second inning, standing up. Swung on, fouled off, strike 2. 1-2 the count. Softball game with Briarcliff. They have bumped up the start time. It was scheduled for a 4 o'clock start in Sioux City. 1-2 the count with 1 out. It is now a 1 o'clock start time tomorrow afternoon. Swing and a miss by Twombly for the second out of the inning. That will bring Logan Templeton to the plate. So 2 down in the bottom of the second inning. And so far, the Defenders with 3 base hits but nothing to show for it beyond 3 singles. First pitch inside corner to Templeton. Strike 1, nothing and 1 the count. So Dordt softball scheduled to play Briarcliff tomorrow, hoping they can get those in before the rain showers move in. Pitch is a strike, nothing and 2 the count. There was some thought of moving it around, juggling those games, and maybe playing in Sioux Center tomorrow. They've elected to give it a go in Sioux City. Chopper, left side. Up with it. Summers over to Jones in time. And Templeton is retired 6-3 for the third out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Due up for Doane, Volcano, Jones, and Bond when we're back right after this.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Eric Rankin, a proud sponsor of Dordt University Defender Athletics. For all your investment needs, call 712-722-0618 or visit edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, SPIC. Members Cut, more than meat, where strong values, great food, and hometown spirit comes together. Stop in and taste the difference community makes. Located just south of Scooters on Highway 75.
This is a Dordt Media Network student-produced live stream broadcast.
Volcano to lead things off for the Tigers. Tigers leading 2-0, top of the 4th inning. Matt Eubanks working his 2nd inning, breaking ball. Looked like a slider by Eubanks, in for a called strike. 0-1 the count with nobody out. And here's the 0-1 pitch, swung on and fouled off and out of play. That one drifting to the right. 0-2 the count with nobody out. So far, the only offense, Doane got Dordt in some trouble with a couple of hits and a couple of walks and got 2 runs across in the 2nd. That one down to the dirt with the bases empty, and Demers unable to block it, but no damage done with the bases empty. 1-2 the count from Eubanks. Right-hander's pitch. Swung on, ground ball. That one ends up foul as he chops it on the right side. Count remains 1-2. So 1-2 the count. The Defenders looking for a win this afternoon over a highly regarded opponent, Doane Tigers in the top 15 in the NAI. That one blocked by Demers, throws over to first base in time. So Demers able to get the out as he throws it over to first for the K2-3. And that'll bring up Braden Jones. So Demers kept that one close. Volcano retired at first base. That'll bring Braden Jones to the plate against Eubanks. Let's see if Eubanks can get on a roll here. First pitch is a strike, 0-1 the count. Eubanks. Solid outing. If I remember correctly, on last week, moved into the bullpen. So 1-1 the count. With one down in the inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's low and away. Ball 2, 2-1. Jones, the 7th batter in the lineup. He's 1 for 1 today with an RBI. So 2-1 the count to the right-handed batter. Back foot on the chalk there. Here's the pitch. Swung on, driven in the air, center field. Twombly backing up in front of the warning track. Looks up, makes the grab. And Jones is retired on the fly out to center for out number 2. And that'll bring Jordan Bond to the plate here in the top of the 4th inning. Still 2-0 Doane. So Bond will step in. Bond, base on balls in his first plate appearance. So with 2 down in the inning, the defenders. Second baseman Dillander pinching over to second base. That one's down in the dirt and off of the shin guard. Ball 1, 1-0 the count. Kerr is at third. Schlesselman is at short. Dillander at second, Templeton at first. Right fielder is Oreskes. Twombly is in center. Here's the pitch. That's in for a called strike. 1-1 the count. And over in left field is Jared Hers. Activity in the Dordt bullpen. I believe that's going to be a common theme today. Somebody's going to be up and ready all the time. Fly ball, center field. Twombly is under it. Twombly makes the grab for the 3rd out of the inning, and Bond flies out harmlessly to center to end the top of the 4th. To the bottom of the 4th we go. Due up for the defenders, it'll be Oreskes, Dillander, and Hers after Doane is retired in order. Back with more after this.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by RA Rentals. Looking for top-notch rental equipment for the next project? Look no further than RA Rentals, located in Sioux Center, Spencer, Storm Lake, and Sioux Falls. RA Rentals, your regional equipment rental experts. Discover more than just inventory, service, and financing for Ford models. Mao Motor Company is committed to exceptional customer service. Mao Motor on Highway 75 North in Sioux Center. Online, maomotor.com. Today's broadcast brought to you by Hague Health Center, proudly serving your local community for nearly 60 years with a commitment to healing body, mind, and spirit. Today's broadcast is brought to you by RA Rentals. Looking for top-notch rental equipment for the next project? Look no further than RA Rentals, located in Sioux Center, Spencer, Storm Lake, and Sioux Falls. RA Rentals, your regional equipment rental experts.
Drew Oreskes will step in to lead off the bottom of the 4th inning. The defender so far, no runs, 3 hits, no errors. Doane, 2 runs, 2 hits, and no errors as well. Caden Crawford has been in command for Doane. Did have a 1st and 3rd situation earlier with 2 down, and Dordt retired without incident. First pitch to Oreskes, misses, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch. Inside. Ball 2. 2-0. Dordt trailing 2-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Started at 1 o'clock, so our baseball game a little over an hour old at this point. Here's the pitch, and Oreskes takes a strike. So 2-1 the count. And Oreskes, the left-handed batter, awaits. Here's the pitch. 2-1 pitch, outside corner, strike two. 2-2. Oreskes batting .315 this year. His last at bat, he's 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. Swung on in a line drive and caught by the second baseman. Nice play by Roth. Roth back on the grass, and I've commented on that a couple of times. And Roth that time timed it out. And Oreskes retired on the line out to the second baseman for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Stephen Dillander. Dillander, right-handed batter, 0 for 1 today. Struck out in his last at-bat. Ground ball, diving stop by Bond across the diamond. Boy, a couple of dandy plays by the Doane defense here in the fourth inning. Roth robs a line drive, and Jordan Bond dives to the foul line, makes the long throw across the diamond for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Jared Hers. Well, the defenders just a couple of inches away from having maybe first and third and nobody out. Instead, you've got two down in the inning, and Jared Hers batting here with the bases empty. Oreskes line drive, just a little bit too much air under it. And Jordan Bond able to smother it and make the long throw for the second out of the inning. 1-1 the count, and Hers swings through it. Strike two, 1-2 the count with two down. Bottom of the fourth inning, the defenders putting the ball in play, just haven't hit it real sharply so far. Not squaring it up and driving it. Swing and a miss, strike three. And the defenders are retired in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Due up for the Tigers, it'll be Harris, Roth, and Summers when we're back with the top of the fifth inning right after this. Ground ball right side, fighting it off is Christensen, and then that's going to tie the game. Max Harris leading things off for the Tigers, facing Matthew Eubanks. We're on the top of the fifth inning. Shows bunt, pulls back, takes strike one. 0-1 the count with nobody out. Defensive alignment for the defenders, unchanged. And here's the pitch from Eubanks. It's in for a called strike two. So 0-2 the count with nobody out. Beautiful day for baseball. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Just missed the outside corner. Ball one, 1-2 the count. More often than not, we get one of the best days of the year on the last day of the regular season, it seems. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, fouled off. And the count remains 1-2. 1-2 the count. Well, Eubanks working into his third inning now. 1-2 pitch on the way. If the Defenders make the postseason tournament, it would begin on Wednesday. That pitch is in for a called strike 3. So Max Harris strikes out looking. That'll bring Carter Roth to the plate. Roth with his third plate appearance. He's got a base on balls to his credit. So with one down in the inning, Roth, right-handed batter, steps in against Eubanks. Eubanks into the wind, and here's the pitch. Swung on, fouls it off. Strike one, 0-1 the count for Eubanks. This is his 14th appearance. His fourth in relief. He's now thrown 37 1/3 innings. Third on the team in that category. Here's the pitch. Hard slider misses. Ball one. 1-1 the count. Eubanks, 7.46 earned run average, 58 strikeouts, tops on the team in that category. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, hit in the air left field. And taking a step in initially was Hers now back to the fence, makes it over his glove, and he's got a double, does Roth. So a double by Roth. Looked like Hers. That initial reaction to take a step in, and not sure that it would have made any difference. Ball well struck. Grant Summers steps in now with a runner in scoring position and one out. So Eubanks is going to have to work with a base runner on, I believe for the first time today. With him on the hill. He came on in the third inning. Pitches a ball. 1-0 the count with one down. Swung on and that one fouled off. Strike one. 1-1 the count. So 1-1 the count. Eubanks pitch misses outside, ball two. 2-1. Well, a week from today, the Great Plains Athletic Conference Track and Field Championship will be competed. That will happen in Fremont, Nebraska. Here's the 2-1 pitch, swung on, hit high in the air. Demers didn't see it initially. Now he calls for it. And Templeton gives way. And Kerr makes the play. Demers makes the play over near the on-deck circle for the second out of the inning. And that will bring Kwapnowski to the plate. Kwapnowski batting with a runner still on second and two down now. Eubanks from the stretch. Eubanks checks the runner. Here's the pitch, swung on, hit high in the air, and it'll be Demers again calling for it. Sheds the mask, sheds the helmet, and makes the play on the foul line. And Kwapnowski is retired on the first pitch.
NewTek is your partner for success when purchasing equipment for construction, manufacturing, agriculture, and other industries. Don't miss the opportunity to transform your business and redefine your productivity standards with NewTek. Today's broadcast brought to you by Snyder Insurance and Financial Group of Sioux Center, offering life, health, Medicare supplements, annuities, and more. Trusted service and exceptional products with you in mind since 1973.
Hey Defender Nation, did you know that Dordt Athletics has over 700 student athletes that make up less than 50% of the student body? We want to invite you to join the Defender Gold Club and support those student athletes, our staff, and coaches this season. Your charitable donation helps advance Defender Athletics and the Defender Way. Last year, we were just shy of 900 members in the Defender Gold Club. Help us reach that 1,000 member mark this year. By becoming a member, you will directly support the student athletes and coaches here at Dordt University. Thanks for watching. Go Defenders.
Two to nothing our score as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Schlesselman jumps on the first pitch, hits it high in the air, right side. Kwapnowski takes 2 steps to his left and makes the play, and Schlesselman is retired on the fly ball out. That'll bring DJ Kerr to the plate. Well, the Defenders trailing 2 to nothing. Crawford rolling along through 4 to third innings. He's given up no runs, 3 hits, and 3 strikeouts. He's thrown just 41 pitches. That one's down in the dirt. Ball 1. 1-0 the count to Kerr. First game of the doubleheader scheduled to go 7 innings. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 1-1 the count. Second game of the twin bill will be a 9-inning contest. 1-1 the count with 1 down. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit high in the air, taking a step in, now retreating is Harris. Harris is under it, makes the play. And Kerr is retired for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring Chisholm Demers to the plate. I'm not sure Crawford has broke a sweat yet. Crawford has faced 17 batters. And pitch is misses. Ball 1. And ball 2. 2-0 the count with 2 down in the inning. And here's the pitch from Crawford. That hits the batter, and Demers reaches after getting hit by the pitch. And it looks like there's a late inning defensive change. And we'll make that adjustment. Looks like Sam Kwapnowski no longer in right field. According to my good friend Rick Schmecker from Doane, he says it is now Thaden Weewell in right field. So that was Weewell who gets credit for the put out in right. Ryan Van steps in. Van, right-handed batter with a runner on first base, grounds it, third base side, up with it, And the throw over to first base in time. And Van is retired. 5-3 for the third out of the inning. So the defenders get a base runner, but nothing more as Demers was hit by a pitch. Due up for the Tigers, it'll be Nelson, Grossert, and Volcano when we're back right after this. Tanner Nelson to step in. Tanner Nelson 0 for 1 today over the base on balls and a strikeout. Here's the pitch. Nelson is the catcher. Takes a strike. Nothing in 1 the count with nobody out. Eubanks peers in. Pitch misses up high. Ball 1, 1-1 the count. Well, felt all season, Matthew Eubanks, the potential for this type of outing. He's had a couple of them. Dealt with some arm issues, too, from what I understand. Line drive, left center field, and that'll be extra bases for Nelson. So Nelson with a leadoff double to left center. And he'll give way now to a courtesy runner as Nelson reaches for the second time. And the courtesy runner now will be Bryson Morrison. So Morrison is the courtesy runner now. The previous courtesy runner inserted defensively into right field. Wewell. So now he's playing a defensive position, and coming on to run will be Morrison. Jet Grossert 0 for 2 today, facing Eubanks. Here's the pitch. Down low. Ball 1. 1-0 the count with nobody out. So 1-0 the count with nobody out. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air, left center field, giving chase and making the diving grab is Jimmy Twombly. Twombly back into the infield quickly. So Twombly likely saves a run and extra bases with that diving grab in center field for the for the first out of the inning. So Grossert hits it as hard as anyone has so far, but comes up with just a L8 in the scorebook. Brings up Johnny Volcano. Volcano trying to extend the Doane lead. Takes the ball low. 1-0 the count with 1 out of the inning. So 1-0 the count with 1 down. From the stretch is Eubanks. And here's the pitch, swung on in a line drive past the third baseman. Kerr into left field, up with it is Hers. He'll get it back in quickly. They'll limit it to a single, but a run will score on the play. So Volcano hits it hard to left field. Morrison scores from second base, and that'll bring up Braden Jones. So now the defender's trying to get out of the inning. Right now, the Tigers, looks like they have caught up with Eubanks, at least this part of the order has. See if Matt can work his way through the inning. Braden Jones, right-handed batter, top of the sixth inning. First pitch is in for a called strike. 0-1 the count. 0-1 the count with one down in the inning. Twombly and Oreskes at center and right. Hers is in left. DJ Kerr, Joey Schlesselman, Stephen Dillander, and Logan Templeton third to first. Chopper left side, scooped by Kerr, and Kerr doesn't have a play. And everybody's safe. Kerr loses it on the transfer from his glove to his throwing hand. May have had a play if he makes it cleanly and throws on the run. I think he had thoughts of trying to get Johnny Volcano at second base and lost it on the transfer. Initially, I'm going to rule that an error. And with runners on first and second, Jordan Bond will come to the plate. So we have a runner now for Jones as well. This will be number 36. Gage Reba. And with the Tigers now leading 3-0, they already have that 3-0 lead. Now they're looking for more. Thought maybe the defenders would have a chance at a double play. The mound visit breaks up. Now Matt Eubanks will try to wiggle out of this one. Runners on first and second and one out. Wind now blowing in from center field. First pitch down low, Dimmers. Keeps it close. Ball one, 1-0 the count. So I mentioned GPAC Track and Field next week, Friday and Saturday at Fremont, Nebraska, hosted by Midland. Also next week, Monday and Tuesday, looks like a couple of decent days. Well, Monday might have to deal with some rain, but the Women's Great Plains Athletic Conference Golf Championship being held. Pitch is down to the dirt, ball 2 to Bond. So 2-0 the count. And that pitch is inside. Ball 3. 3-0 with one down in the inning. So 3-0 the count with one out. Here's the pitch. That is in for a called strike. So Eubanks delivers a strike. So the defenders already with one mound visit. Jared Jones, the pitching coach, talking things over with Eubanks. And the 3-1 pitch on the way from Eubanks. Swung on and fought off foul and out of play. That one's straight over our head behind the plate. So the count is full, 3-2. Eubanks, a junior from Concordia, Kansas. Well, Wednesday was a nice day for baseball, even a shade on the warm side. Felt like we went straight to July. Here's the full count pitch. That one's off of the hands and out of play. And the count remains full at 3-2. 3-2 the count. So 3-2 the count with one out. 3-0 our score. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball in for a called strike three. And Matt Eubanks gets a strikeout. And for Eubanks, that is his fourth strikeout today. And that'll bring Max Harris to the plate. So Eubanks, an out away from completing his fourth inning in relief. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike one. 0-1 the count. So 0-1 the count. Eubanks trying to get out of the frame. Runners at first and second. 0-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled off and out of play. Strike two. 0-2 the count. So 0-2 the count with two down in the inning. We're in the top of the sixth. Doane leads 3-0. And from the stretch is Eubanks. Eubanks, pitch swung on, fouled back to the netting. Strike two. Count remains 0-2. Max Harris. He's 0 for 1 so far today with a sacrifice fly. Here's the pitch. Ground ball up the middle and unable to catch up with it is the shortstop diving Schlesselman. That'll score a run. A single that just barely makes it through, and Harris delivers an RBI single. Reba advances to third base. Volcano scores. And that'll bring Roth to the plate with two down and two across. So Roth batting. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Strike one. 0-1 the count. Defenders now trail 4-0, and the Tigers, they're pitching Crawford. The defenders have not had much luck against him so far today. Obviously, all it takes is one inning for that to change, but the defenders haven't been able to string much together against Crawford so far, so he's got a 4-run cushion to work with. From the stretch is Eubanks. Here's the pitch. Swung on and a line shot at Schlesselman. Schlesselman makes the grab for the third out of the inning. On the line drive out off of the bat of Carter Roth. But the Tigers string together 3 hits. They get 2 runs, 3 hits. There was an error and 2 left on base. To the bottom of the sixth. Bottom of the sixth we go. Back with more after this.
Hey Defender Nation, my name is Darren Kaiser and I'm excited to serve as the new athletic director at Dordt University. Thank you for tuning in to the Dordt Media Network and supporting Defender Athletics. As an athletic department, we are committed to the Defender way. This means we are committed to the Great Commission, developing servant leaders, the academic development of our student athletes, and the pursuit of championships. I'm eager to join with you in supporting our athletes this year. Thank you for watching Defender Athletics on the Dordt Media Network. Go Defenders!
Welcome to Sioux Center, Iowa, life in the center of everything, where we see our work impact lives near and far and embrace opportunities to pursue our passions. And a day at the office isn't just 8 to 5, because we work for innovative companies and know we're never far from the next unforgettable memory. Because we keep friendship, family, and a bright future at the center of everything.
Jimmy Twombly batting, with the defenders trailing 4-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So the defenders running out of chances. Crawford breaking ball in for a called strike. Nothing in 1 the count with nobody out. Here's the pitch, swung on and golfed foul. Strike 2, nothing in 2 the count. Nothing in 2 the count with nobody out. Twombly 0 for 2 today with a strikeout. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air, right side, giving chase is Wewell near the foul line. Wewell still on the move. Wewell unable to make the sliding grab near the warning track. So a foul ball. And the count is now 0-2, still 0-2. Twombly retreats back to the batter's box. He was almost near second base. And Twombly takes the ball. So 1-2 the count with nobody out. Here's the pitch, and that's in for a called strike 3. And Logan Templeton strikes out looking. That is the 4th strikeout for Crawford. So Templeton comes to the plate here with the bases empty and 1 out. That pitch misses outside. Ball 1, 1-0 the count. So there's 1 out in the inning. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Dordt trailing 4-0. Doane has gotten just enough offense in support of Caden Crawford, and Crawford has held the defender bats at bay. Defenders have had some nice plays on defense. Doane had a very good defensive 4th inning. This one golfed into center field, and that's going to get away from the center fielder diving, and that'll be a long single for Templeton. So Templeton with a single to center field as he serves it up into center field. Max Harris going for it, and it's right fielder Thayton Wool got over there quickly to prevent extra bases. And now we'll have a pinch runner for Templeton, I believe. So Cameron Grimes, number 35, will come on and run. Drew Oreskes batting with a runner on first base. Let's see if Oreskes can do some damage with 1 out in the frame. And Oreskes settles in. Crawford from the stretch. Here's the pitch with 1 out, and this one hit in the air left field. Drifting, and making the play is Volcano in left field, and Oreskes doesn't quite get all of that one. And Oreskes flies out to left for the 2nd out of the inning. That'll bring Stephen Dillander to the plate. Now, Dillander does have power capabilities as well. Get a hold of one here, and you can change the complexion of the game a little bit. 2 down in the inning. Dillander, up to this point, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball's in for a called strike. Crawford has been in command most of the way here this afternoon. Defenders had a 1st and 3rd situation early in the game. Didn't get anything. They've mustered 4 hits. A pitch blocked. Ball 1. 1-1 the count with 2 down. Runner on first base. And here's the 1-1 pitch outside. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. So 2-1 the count. Grimes will get his lead over at first base for the Defenders. Grimes, his 6th game appearance. That just misses. Ball 3. 3-1 the count. Pitch was up high. So 2 down in the inning. Call for time. Crawford not happy with that baseball. Tosses it back to his catcher, Nelson. So Dillander, 5th batter in the Dordt lineup. Dillander looking for his first hit of the day. 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. And the count goes full at 3-2. Well, we'll have more baseball and softball games getting underway at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Keep an eye on things as games move along. Swung on and fouled off and out of play. It's like Midland and Morningside softball ready to get started. Briarcliff and Midland baseball. Dakota Wesleyan and Mount Marty baseball. Doane leading the Defenders 4-0 in this one. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. And that misses. Ball 4. And the walk is issued. That is the first walk surrendered by Caden Crawford this afternoon. And that'll bring Jared Hers to the plate. And now we'll have a mound visit. First mound visit we will have by the Doane Tigers today, I believe. So with 2 down in the inning, runner at second is Cameron Grimes for the Defenders. Runner at first is Stephen Dillander. And Jared Hers coming to the plate. Hers, 1 of 2. He's 1 of 3 Defenders with a base hit today. And this mound visit doesn't take long. So there are 2 outs in the inning. And now the Defenders will ask for a pause in the action, and Chase Edwards talking with his base runners and Jared Hers. Edwards, the hitting coach and third base coach. And Jared Hers awaiting the pitch from Crawford. So runners at first and second. Dordt trying to break through. Pitch is down to the dirt, blocked by Nelson. Runners can't advance. It's a ball, 1-0 the count. So 1-0 the count with 2 down in the inning. And here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 2. So Crawford working himself into a little bit of trouble here. Playing with a 4-0 lead, but the Defenders threatening here with a runner in scoring position. And 2 down, 2-0 pitch on the way. Crawford checks the runner. The right-hander's pitch, steps off of the mound, and will step back onto the rubber now. 2-0 the count with 2 down. And the pitch on the way to Hers. Misses upstairs, ball 3. 3-0 the count. Well, for the first time today, Crawford really having trouble locating up to this point. Strike to ball ratios have been about 2-1. 42 strikes, 20 balls thrown. And he walks that one catches the outside half of the plate. Strike 1, 3-1. 3-1 the count with 2 down. Well, that's the D on the Doane hats, the orange D. Here's the pitch. That's in for a called strike. And the count is full now, 3-2. So Crawford a strike away from getting out of the jam. The defender's trying to extend things and crawl back into this, trailing 4-0, bottom of the 6th inning. Hers awaiting the delivery, looking for his second base hit of the day. Swung on, lashes it into right field. That could be extra bases as Hers gets around on it, and it will be extra bases. It's up against the fence. 1 run is in. A second run comes in to score, and the Dordt defenders are on the board, trailing 4-2. So Hers delivers a double to right, scoring Dillander from first and Grimes from second. And now Joey Schlesselman will come to the plate as the defenders have broken through with a couple of runs. So Schlesselman will come to the plate. That was the second hit of the day for Hers. He's now 2 for 3. And Schlesselman, who had 3 hits in the win over Hastings on Wednesday night in Game 2, comes to the plate here with the runner still in scoring position. First pitch is in for a called strike. 0-1 the count with 2 down. Defenders trailing 4-2. Carter Roth pinching towards second base, so big hole between first and second. Pitch is down to the dirt. Ball 1, 1-1 the count with 2 down. So 1-1 the count with 2 down in the inning. One and one the count with 2 down in the inning. 4-2 our score. Tigers with the lead, but Dordt threatening again. This one fouled off. And now the count is 1-2. 1-2 the count. So 2-2 the count with 2 down. And Schlesselman, right-handed batter. So the 2-2 pitch on the way here from Crawford. And this one line drive, right field. That one's going to drop foul. And the count remains 2-2. So deuces are wild here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 runs apiece here in the 6th. The defenders trailing 4-2. Here's the pitch to Schlesselman. Outside, and the count is full. Well, Crawford's scuffling a bit here. He's given up 2 runs on 5 hits today. Got himself into trouble here in this inning with a couple of walks. And that one a ball. So Schlesselman reaches, runners on first and second. And the Tigers checking if they're ready in the bullpen. And Arndorfer will come up and pinch hit. Tigers buying a little bit of time here with the catcher, Tanner Nelson, coming out to talk things over with his pitcher. So Arndorfer will come up. So Arndorfer is settled into that pinch hitter role. And Arndorfer this year, .258 batting average, couple of home runs, 7 RBI. And he will face Caden Crawford. Crawford had been rolling along before this frame, but has now walked a couple and gave up a double earlier. And now runners on first and second for Arndorfer. First pitch is in for a called strike. Nothing in on the count. Well, the defenders with a go-ahead run now at the plate in the form of Arndorfer. Tying run at first base with Schlesselman. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Arndorfer. So now Arndorfer's going to have to protect. Down to the count 0-2. Bottom of the 6th inning. Arndorfer, sophomore from Green Valley, Missouri. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Low and away, ball squirts away from the catcher. Throw over to third base, not in time. So Arndorfer takes a ball in the dirt. Hers advances on the wild pitch. And now 2 runners in scoring position for the Tigers. And now the base umpire conversing with the Doane Tiger head coach. And the throw, pretty strong throw that time by Nelson. But Josh Oltman's talking things over with the base umpire. And now runners at first and second for the defenders. Still 2 down, but runners in scoring position. Arndorfer looking to deliver. Pitch on the way from Crawford. That's high and tight, ball 2. 2-2, just misses inside. So 2-2 the count with 2 down. Runners get their leads. Here's the pitch. Arndorfer fights it off foul and out of play. And the count is still 2-2. Chisholm Demers waits in the on-deck circle here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So the tying run at second base for the defenders. 2-2 the count with 2 down. Wind blowing in from center. Here's the pitch to Arndorfer. Swing and a miss. First base is open. Throw over to first in time. And Arndorfer retired on the strikeout. 2-3. For the 3rd out of the inning, and the defender threat is over. But the defenders get 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. To the top of the 7th we go. Doane 4, Dordt 2. Back with more after this.
You have field work. You're going to get to work with real students in real classrooms. And we've designed this all. You can do it all at a distance from campus. You don't have to come to campus for any of it.
When we think about students with disabilities, these students are important. They're valuable, and they're worth the time it's going to take us to address their needs.
Hi, this is Alex with Outdoor Elements. We've been the region's premier landscape company for over 15 years. With our own in-house landscape designer, we create extraordinary outdoor spaces where you will make memories with family and friends. We do all types of landscaping, and we're the region's only certified pool professionals. We specialize in saltwater pools, which are easy to maintain and gentle on your skin. Check out our website at OutdoorElementsInc.com. We make your landscape as beautiful as your home. When you want the best, contact us at 712-476-5299 or email us at info@OutdoorElementsInc.com.
Grant Summers to lead things off for the Tigers. So the Dordt defenders trailing 4-2 here in the top of the 7th inning. And for the defenders, got to stay right here and give yourself a chance in the bottom half of the inning. Any run here is critical for Doane. Here's the pitch. Summers takes inside. Ball 1-0 the count. Due up for the Tigers. Summers, Kwapnowski, Weewell, and Nelson. Curious if Kwapnowski or Weewell will bat. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air, right side. First baseman Templeton. Got a late jump on it. And reaches up and makes the play in foul territory. For the first out of the inning. And re-entering now will be Kwapnowski. So Kwapnowski back in after Weewell. I think Weewell actually played 3 defensive innings. And Kwapnowski, left-handed batter. 1 out in the frame. And here's the pitch. Swung on, line drive in right field, and that'll be deposited in front of Oreskes, and Kwapnowski takes the turn at first and holds there with a long single. So Kwapnowski hits it on the nose. And that'll bring up Tanner Nelson. So 1 out in the inning. Here's the pitch. Inside. Ball 1-0 the count with 1 out. And pitch is in for a called strike. 1-1 the count with 1 out. This game approaching 2 hours old. We're in the top of the 7th inning. 4-2, Doane leading. Line drive past the first baseman, Templeton. Templeton unable to snag it. And that slices into right field. And now the Tigers, runners at the corners with 1 out. So runners at first and third with 1 out in the inning. And that'll bring up Jet Grossert. Matt Eubanks now forced to work out of the jam. Dordt trailing 4-2. They got 2 back in the 6th inning. Still within striking distance, but anything here would be huge for Doane. First pitch is a strike. 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch to Grossert. Grossert takes a ball. It's 1-1. So 1-1 the count with 1 down in the inning. Well, what a beautiful day. Late April day here in Sioux Center. Sunshine, light winds. Chopper, fielded by Templeton, throws over to short for 1. Back to first, not in time, and a run scores. So Gossert officially hits into a fielder's choice. Nelson retired. 3-6. Kwapnowski scores on the play. And Volcano will come to the plate with 2 down now, but an insurance run in for the Tigers. And that one past the diving shortstop Schlesselman, scooped up by Hers in left field. So Volcano with a single past the shortstop. Grossert advances to second on the play, and Braden Jones steps in. 2 down in the inning. From the stretch, here's the pitch outside. Ball 1. 1-0 the count with 2 down. So 1-0 the count with 2 down in the inning. Eubanks trying to get out and limit the damage. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit high in the air, right side. That one's going to drift out of play. So 1-1 the count with 2 down. And down off of the mound momentarily was Eubanks. Gets the ball from the umpire. 1-1 the count to Jones. Braden Jones today. 1 for 3 with an RBI. Looking for more here. They shade him to the left side on the infield. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, strike 2. 1-2 the count. So 1-2 the count with 2 down in the inning. So Eubanks from the stretch with 2 down in the inning. And that just misses. Ball 2, 2-2 the count. Not a bad pitch that time by Eubanks. And Eubanks will look in again from the stretch. 2-2 pitch coming. Eubanks pitch, swung on, hit in the air right side. Arascas looks like he's got it. Drifting now, comes on and unable to make the play. Ball hits the heel of his glove and 2-run score. So Jones reaches second. 2-run score on the play. And Jordan Bond will come to the plate here. 3 runs are across now for the Tigers. They lead 7-2. Well, Arascas looked like he had a good read on it and then came on and ball just hit off of the heel of his glove and dropped to the grass. First pitch is a ball to Jordan Bond. 1-0 the count. Well, this Doane team, they've got a lot to play for this weekend. Playing for a conference championship, in effect. They're in the driver's seat. Here's the pitch. That's in for a called strike. 1-1 the count. Talked about it quite a bit in the early innings, but they entered play today, 20-4 in the conference. Game in front of Morningside and Concordia in the loss column. Playing Morningside tomorrow. Here's the 1-1 pitch, swung on off of the screen, strike 2, 1-2 the count. So 1-2 the count with 2 down. 7-2, Doane with a 5-run lead now. Eubanks trying to get out of the inning. Breaking ball, soft fly ball, and that's past the second baseman. Dillander giving chase into right field. And another run comes in to score. And the Tigers have put 4 on the board here. And it's now 8-2. And Max Harris, the batter. So Jones scores on the play. He was running on contact and scored from second. So 8-2 our score after the conference on the mound, and Max Harris batting with a runner on first base. But it looks like the damage may be done here. 4 runs here in the top of the 7th inning. Harris swings through a pitch, strike 1. 1-1 the count with 2 down in the inning. So 1-1 the count with 2 down. Throw over to first base, not in time. Back in safely is Jordan Bond. So the Tigers, 8 runs on 10 hits. Dordt's committed a couple of errors today defensively. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 1-2 the count. Those 2 errors resulting in 4 unearned runs. So 1-2 the count with 2 down. And here's the pitch from Eubanks. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And the side is retired, but not before they get 4 runs. 4 unearned runs come across. 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, 1 left on base. Bottom of the 7th inning coming up. Chisholm Demers, Ryan Van, Jimmy Twombly. Last chance for the defenders when we're back right after this.
In the Dome, we have a space available for 2 full-size softball fields. However, this space is also utilized by the football, baseball, and soccer teams, as well as for other various athletic events. Another great thing about the American State Bank Sports Complex is that it's not just for Dordt athletes, it's for the entire community. Whether that's high school soccer leagues, open turf time, or even a space for intramurals. Hope you stop by soon.
Austin Elke is on to in relief with a 6th run cushion to work with. Elke, his 6th appearance. He's worked 6 in the 3rd innings. So right now, Crawford in position to win his 8th game of the year. If Elke can finish things off, the defenders need 6 to extend, 7 to win. First pitch to Demers. Called strike, 0-1 the count. Chisholm Demers awaits from Elke. Elke misses up high. Ball 1, 1-1 the count. It'll be Demers and then the top of the order again for the defenders. It'll be the 4th time through for Dordt. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2, 1-2 the count. 1-2 the count with nobody out. And here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 2. 2-2. So 2-2 the count. The Tigers, everything wraps up tomorrow if the weather holds, and we certainly hope it does. Start having to bleed games out into next week. That's no fun for anyone, especially with conference tournaments looming and you're trying to put your pitching staff together. 3-2 count. And here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Demers strikes out. So Elke records the strikeout. Elke, his 9th strikeout in 7 innings. 6 2/3 innings to be exact. So Ryan Van to the plate. Van takes the ball. 0-1 the count. Ryan Van is from Platte City, Missouri. 1-0 the count with 1 down. And here's the pitch. Breaking ball. Misses up high, ball 2, 2-0. So the defenders surrendering 4 runs in the 7th inning. Didn't do them make any easier for them. Pitch is on the inside corner. Strike 1, 2-1 the count with 1 out. So 2-1 the count with 1 down in the inning. And here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled back. Strike 2. 2-2 the count with 1 down. So 1 out in the inning. The defenders, couple of errors, and margin for error pretty slim when you're playing a team like Doane and can't give them extra outs, and the defenders did that a couple of times today and resulted in 4 unearned runs. Here's the full count pitch, and Van is walked. And that'll bring Jimmy Twombly to the plate. So the defenders trying to give themselves a chance here. Need base runners, and a lot of them. Twombly, 0 for 3 so far today, struck out twice. Van reaches on the base on balls. The defenders sending Twombly to the plate, and Twombly with a runner on first base. Twombly, a .243 batting average, takes a strike. 0-1 the count. That's a ball. 1-1. So 1 out in the inning. Twombly. Twombly awaiting the delivery from Elke, and the pitch is up high. That's a ball. 3-0 the count. Inadvertently registered the first pitch as a strike. Should have been a ball. It's 3-0. So 3-0 the count. Pitch is in for a called strike. It's 3-1. So 3-1 the count. With 1 out, the defenders down to their final 2 outs, trailing by 6. Here's the pitch from Elke. Outside corner. Strike 2, 3-2 the count. All coming up at the conclusion of the contest. We'll take a short break, and then we'll get to our Ross Hoekstra State Farm Player of the Game. 3-2 the count with 1 out. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And Twombly goes down swinging. And that'll bring up Logan Templeton. So Templeton batting here with 2 down in the inning. Templeton today, 2 for 3. And the defenders down to their final out here in the first game of the doubleheader. First pitch is in for a called strike. 0-1 the count with 2 down. Tigers looking for their 36th win of the year, just 8 losses, 4 of them in conference play. Swung on, ground ball, shortstop, up with it, and bobbles it. That'll go as an error. So Oreskes will bat here after Templeton reaches on the error, and it just looked like Summers just took his eye off it. Didn't look like it took a noticeably bad hop as I watched the replay. So now Drew Oreskes comes to the plate, takes a pitch inside, ball one. 1-0 the count. That's the first error by the Doane Tigers today, so the clean sheet no longer for Doane. 1-0 the count. Swung on, driven in the air, right field. Oreskes got into that one, and that one is a home run for Drew Oreskes and tightens the game to 8-5. So Oreskes with the home run to right center field. And the defenders are back to within 3. And Drew Oreskes makes it an 8-5 contest, and we'll have a mound visit. So 3 unearned runs come across for the defenders. This run extended, this inning extended by an error on the shortstop. And that will send Stephen Dillander to the plate. So the defender's still down 8-5. And Austin Elke will try to work out of the inning now. And for the Doane Tigers, your coaching staff and your infield has to say, you know, still playing with a 3-run cushion. The tying run is still in the dugout for the Dordt defenders. So we have a conference between Chase Edwards and Stephen Dillander. So Dillander batting here with the bases empty. And 2 down in the frame. Dordt trailing 8-5. Oreskes with that home run. 3 RBI. It's 1 for 4 today. And for Oreskes, his 7th home run of the season, 37 RBI. Pitch is a ball, so it's 2-0. 2-0 the count with 2 down. From the stretch is Elke. Here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 3, 3-0. And this is where you can get yourself in some trouble if you're the pitcher. Got to recover and got to have a short memory. In danger of walking Dillander. 3-0 pitch on the way. And that pitch is inside. Ball 4 and the walk is issued. That'll bring up Jared Hers. Hers today 2 for 3 with a couple of RBI. Hers making a strong case for Player of the Game honors. And we're going to have a pitching change. That'll be it for Austin Elke as the defenders try to piece together a rally. Jared Hers will have to wait for his turn at the plate. We'll be back with more from Open Space Park in a moment.
Thank you for being here as we celebrate the launch of Dordt University's Master of Science in Nursing Family Nurse Practitioner program.
At Dordt University, our NPs will be prepared as Christian nurses, where their practice reflects their faith, acknowledging the value of anyone in their care as a child of God, worthy of dignity and compassion.
I hope you leave understanding that this is more than just a new graduate degree. It's a commitment to healthcare, to urban and rural communities, to preparing nurses who serve with skill integrity, purpose as the hands and feet of Christ.
This is a Dordt Media Network student-produced live stream broadcast.
Ethan Merck has come on in relief. Merck is 3-3 this year in 12 appearances, all of them in relief. 29 in the third innings, 29 strikeouts. Teams are batting 187 against Merck. Merck also leads the team, second on the team in saves with 3. Garrett Klein leads the team with 4. So 2 down in the inning. This is not a save opportunity. And here's the pitch. That's in for a called strike. So 0-1 the count with 2 down. Well, I take that back. This would be a save opportunity. Tying run is on deck. So a save opportunity here for Merck. Hers down to the count 0-2. And pitch is a ball. 1-2 the count to Hers. Hers 2 for 3 today, and an opportunity to extend the inning and keep the game going. 1-2 the count. Swung on, hit in the air left side. Under it, over near the dugout. Making the play is Jordan Bonds. And Hers is retired on the pop-out in foul territory to the third baseman for the third out of the inning. The defenders are retired. 3 runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left on base. And that will bring our first game to a conclusion. Let's take a break, and we'll be back to look at the numbers right after this.
This is a Dordt Media Network student-produced live stream broadcast.
Find a project that applies to your local context, that helps you as a teacher in your classroom, and do a deep dive on it. Like, we're always trying to be like, what does this have to do with the place in which you serve?
We strive to build community from before you step foot on campus to years after you graduate. We want to give Dordt students the chance to live and learn together and create meaningful, lifelong relationships that are rooted in faith.
Well, the Dordt defenders end up on the short end of an 8-5 decision today. The Doane Tigers get 2 in the second, 2 in the sixth, and 4 in the seventh. And those 4 in the seventh end up being the deciding factor as the Dordt defenders scored 2 in the 6th and 3 in the 7th. The 3 in the 7th coming on a Drew Oreska's 3-run home run. But the defenders on the short end, 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. Doane, 8 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error. As you take a look at those Hague Health Center highlights playing out. And the Dordt defenders, other notes, the Dordt defenders today, Matthew Eubanks, yeoman work in relief. Gave up 6 runs, but only 2 of them were earned. Allowed 8 hits with 5 strikeouts. Didn't walk a batter in 5 innings of work. The win goes to Crawford for Doane. He went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs on 5 hits, walked 2 and struck out 5. Merck gets the save, his 4th of the year. The defenders are now 10-17 in the conference, 20-27 overall. Doane improves to 21-4 and 36-8. Offensively, Dordt was led today by Logan Templeton, had 2 hits. He was 2 for 4 with a run scored. And Jared Hers was 2 for 4 with 2 RBI and a couple of singles. Andrew Oreskas had a 3-run home run. Our player of the game, our Ross Hoekstra State Farm player of the game, brought to you by Ross Hoekstra, serving Sioux County and the tri-state area. Call Ross 712-722-0806 for all your insurance needs. Bit of a challenge today. Thought about Matthew Eubanks. Went with Jared Hers. Jared Hers is the player of the game after going 2 for 4 with 2 singles and a couple runs batted in. That's going to do it for the broadcast of our first game. We'll be back with Game 2 in about 20 minutes.